Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about some essential oil blends that I've created and that I've used in my soap making recipes, and also which is actually quite fantastic. I've had a couple of viewers reach out and provide some cold processed soap blends, like essential oil blends they use in their cold processed soap recipes. And I've also reached out to some other people that I quite often chat to in Instagram, and are exchanging emails. So they've been kind enough to share some essential oil blends they use, which is quite fantastic. So I'll cover what has been shared first, and then I'll go on and show the essential oil blends that I use in all my recipes, and some of them you would have seen me use in some videos I've already posted up, and also some slides that I've provided in my aromatherapy video, which I will provide a plug up above in case you haven't seen it. The link to that's also in the description as well. So yeah, I thought today I'll go into large detail and in-depth detail of the essential oil blends that I use. Right, so just to go a little bit on what essential oils are. They are compounds extracted from plant source materials. They are actual volatile oils, meaning that they evaporate. As you know, that oil doesn't evaporate, but essential oils do evaporate. So you'll probably see, once you start reading up on aromatherapy, that they are referred to as volatile. So that's all that means. All that means is that it actually evaporates. So if you literally leave a cup of essential oil out, uncovered, out in the exposed to the air, depending whether it's a top, middle, or base, the tops will just evaporate fairly quick within like a few hours, and of course the middle and base notes take a little longer. But essentially, if you leave essential oils open, depending on the volume, it will evaporate out. So that's why they are referred to as volatile, and they are extracted through cold pressing or steam distillation. Those two are the main ways of obtaining essential oils. There is another way called solvent extraction, and usually absolutes are extracted through either alcohol or some sort of natural solvent. It's usually alcohol, and if you buy like an organic absolute, they are always extracted through certified organic ethanol or alcohol. So those three are the main types. They are very complex in nature. So if you actually break down, for example, lavender essential oil, you'll see quite a few different chemical compositions in the actual oil, and how those certain chemicals react with the body, and how they make us feel. And lavender is well known to be a relaxing oil and help with depression, anxiety, and it helps with sleep. So there's heaps of information out there regarding the health benefits of aromatherapy principles, and like any other video that I cover talking about aromatherapy, I always encourage to do your own research. And essential oils are very concentrated, so they aren't like, if you grind up, for example, an orange peel and you use it in pot puree versus a small 5 or 6 ml bottle of orange essential oil, there's no comparison. It's just one orange, for example, versus maybe a couple of hundred oranges that were used to actually make that bottle. So it is extremely concentrated, and like I have mentioned many times before, I consider essential oils plant medicine, and there's a whole science behind aromatherapy principles. So here are some considerations when working with essential oils in cold processed soap making. Never go above 5% of your oil weight, and work with 3% clays. So the clays help anchor the essential oils, and of course, because as mentioned before, they're volatile compounds, so we have to help anchor them into your cold processed soap recipe, and working with an appropriate base that helps anchor it down in your recipe as well. Research dermal limits and dermal maximums. You've probably heard me use these terms. I won't go too much into detail with that because I did cover a lot of that in my aromatherapy video and in my recent video in my Cocoa Shea soap tutorial. I covered working within dermal limits and dermal maximums because people with certain health issues can be affected by too much essential oil, or if you've gone above the dermal maximum. For example, I'm 32 years old. I'm a healthy individual, and even me, when I've gotten peppermint oil on me, I felt actually the effects of my heart rate, and same with cinnamon essential oil. When I got it on my skin undiluted, I actually felt my heart rate increase, and I felt a bit uneasy. So just imagine, someone that has a heart issue or a heart problem. And I was actually talking to one of my stockists the other day, actually, and she said that she experienced the same thing when using too high a percentage of peppermint oil. She felt like her heart rate went up. So, that's just one example. And if you look at, the chemical compositions of peppermint oil, it is very stimulating. Same with cinnamon. So if you're not careful, it can potentially land someone in hospital or make someone ill or sick. So that's why knowing your dermal limits and dermal maximums are important. And of course, work in a very well ventilated area. Wear gloves and eye protection because it can easily splatter into your eyes, and it can very well damage your eyes as well. So it's always recommended to wear eye protection and gloves. You don't have to wear a mask. You probably should wear a mask if you don't have proper ventilation. But if ventilation is not an issue, then there's no need for a mask. And you've got to remember, essential oils readily absorb into the skin, the pores, the hair follicles, the sweat glands. They actually enter the bloodstream fairly quick, within 30 seconds, especially the hands and the neck and the face. That's the fastest absorbing areas of our body that it actually absorbs fairly quick. And of course, each chemical composition in an essential oil, they absorb at different rates. Some of them can absorb in 30 seconds, some of them takes a few minutes, some of them takes 10 minutes, some of them takes 15 minutes. So of course it depends on the essential oil and what makes up the essential oil. But as a general rule of thumb, as we know, our skin absorbs what we put on. So if you are not careful with what you're putting on your skin in terms of dermal maximums, and even when we're talking about soap, we hold the soap in our hand as well. So we're putting it all over our body. For me personally, I put it all over my face, my head, my body. Of course, they're in my hands because that's how you hold soap. So a lot of it can absorb if you are working with such a large percentage of an essential oil that has a dermal maximum as well. And of course, dermal limits and dermal maximums, that covers irritation potential as well. So you don't want to make a bar of soap that smells beautiful and for it to have irritation potential. Right, so when to add or incorporate essential oils in your cold processed soap making. There's three ways. You don't ever mix the essential oils with your carrier oils before you add the lye in, because that can start reacting with the lye, and you don't want to you want to retain as much of the scent as possible. Of course, it is cold processed soap making, so some of the essential oils you use will be lost, so we have to take that in consideration as well. But generally you add essential oils after emulsion, or at thin trace. And if you are splitting your coloring and it's an accelerating blend, you would color your batch when you split it, and then you add the essential oil in and you whisk it in, and so that way to avoid it thickening up and you being able to actually pour it while it's still quite fluid. So there are two reasons. There's two scenarios that you wouldn't want to add essential oils. Is obviously before you add the lye in, and after during the saponification process, generally between 24, depending on the weather. If it's cold, it takes a little longer to saponify. It can be anywhere between 24 to 72 hours. If you've got a fairly warm weather, like it's pretty warm here in Sydney 3 seasons of the year, so it generally does saponify between 24 and 48 hours. And that reaction as well, you lose some of the essential oil, so plus some of the essential oil does react with the lye. So those two considerations, when you are using essential oils, that can affect the end result of your smell, of the scent of the bar. And of course, evaporation over the curing time. So that's why it's really important to work with a good amount of percentage, assuming they're in the dermal limit and dermal maximum. And of course, using appropriate base and using appropriate clays to anchor in the essential oil. So all these reasons that I've mentioned, they're all factors we have to consider when creating a cold process soap recipe. And there's so many factors happening, like the saponification process, the heat involved. When the saponification process does happen, it can reach up to 60 degrees. The lye reacting with the essential oils, the curing time, it evaporating, because as you know, as I've mentioned, and as anyone would know that work with essential oils, they are volatile, so they evaporate naturally, just being exposed to the air. So all these, so many factors in cold process soaps that come into, account when you're trying to set your soap. Right, so I'm going to be starting off with blends that Hala from Sweet Earth Products shared with me on Instagram. Thank you very much, Hala from Sweet Earth Products. Be sure to check her out on Facebook and Instagram, and she's got a website as well. Her soaps are beautiful. They're very natural looking, beautiful. You just should go check them out. And she was really kind in sharing 2 of her essential oil ratios with her cold process soap making. So this is based on, all these recipes I'll be showing today are based on oil weight, 1,000 grams, and you adjust according to what your size batch is. So this is 2% tea tree, 1.5% cedarwood atlas, 1% lime, and 0.6% clove. This, I can just imagine, I've never smelled this before, but I can just imagine what a beautiful scent this would be. Really nice, woody, and a bit of citrus, and the tea tree and the clove, really earthy. I would imagine that's what it would smell like. So definitely give this one a try, and give thanks to Hala as well, and head on over to her Facebook and Instagram. This is also another blend Hala was kind enough to share. 1.5% Rose Absolute, 1.5% Ylang Ylang 3rd grade, and of course, to fix it, as mentioned before, 1% Cedarwood Atlas. And I have no experience with Rose Absolutes, so if you do need advice on Rose Absolutes or any Absolute, just research it. I believe you do have to dilute Absolutes in a carrier oil and disperse it in the carrier oil before you incorporate it into your cold process soap recipe or any oil-based product that you are using. I've personally never done it. Maybe I will try in the future, but so far I just work with essential oils. And this is her ratio of what she uses. She did say that this is a little fast tracing, which I can only imagine. Ylang Ylang does accelerate trace. Rose geranium and rose essential oil are fairly similar in their chemical composition, so I know rose geranium does accelerate trace, so I can only imagine rose probably would accelerate trace as well. And when you couple that with ylang ylang, it definitely is going to speed things up a little. But yeah, I can just imagine how beautiful this scent would be. So thanks Hala for sharing that. I will probably be, maybe in the future, if I do try a Rose Absolute, I probably would try this combination. I can just imagine how beautiful this scent would be. And I know that Hala does use this particular essential oil blend in her soap, so be sure to head on over to her website and support her. I think she's located in Sunshine Coast, Queensland. So definitely support her, and if you go to her website, you'll just see the amazing products that she has. And I just wanted to say happy birthday. She informed me today that her son Jet is turning 11 today, and she's running around getting the party ready for tomorrow. And even through all the chaos, she's still, because it was very last minute when I actually spoke to Hala, she was still very gracious enough to share these two essential oil blends with me. So happy birthday, Jet. Hope you have a fantastic day tomorrow, and a big thank you to Hala. And I'm sure we'll be speaking soon and keeping in touch. Hala will also be, me and Hala will be having a chat sometime in June interviewing her with other soap makers as well. So she'll be one person I'll be interviewing, and she's definitely on the list. So I'm really looking forward to having that chat with Hala. I've never actually done this recipe before, this combination of essential oils. I can just imagine it would be such a nice fresh smell. It's peppermint, tea tree and cedarwood atlas. Thank you, Elly, for sharing this essential oil blend with me and the viewers. And if you don't know, Elly has her own YouTube channel focused on soap making and bread and whole grain sourdough as well, how to create your own starter. So definitely go on to Elly's Facebook and Instagram and her YouTube channel. Of course, with anyone today, I'll be providing links in the description. And Elly was gracious enough into quickly sharing 2 recipes with me this morning. So thank you very much, Elly, for that. This is another recipe Elly was kind enough to share this morning. I've never done this combination actually. I can just imagine how beautiful this would smell. I would actually be more likely to try one of this recipe actually in the future. So, because I love Palmarosa, and it's got like I'm not very good at describing scents, so I couldn't say what it really smells like, but it kind of, it's got a rose smell, and it's just a very deep, earthy, also rosy floral type smell. And of course with lavender and rosemary, I think those three actually combined would be just such a really nice combination. And of course the patchouli is to help anchor, and you would actually smell the patchouli as well, because patchouli is quite strong. So thank you very much, Elly. I'm sure like most people on my channel know who Elly is, because a lot of my followers have come over from Elly's YouTube, because we have done a couple of videos together. So thanks so much, Elly, for all the kindness you have showed over the last few months. She was so kind into doing a soap review for my soaps on her channel, and which I just did not expect. That just blew me away. And she interviewed me on her channel as well. So I owe a lot of thanks to Elly, and I do hold her in very high regard, and I look forward to possibly doing more interviews or any collaborations we may do in the future. So thanks again for that, Elly. So hopefully you're watching this. I'm sure you'll get around to watching it when you have some time. This is another beautiful combination. I have done eucalyptus and spearmint in the past, so I can attest to this actually smelling really nice. For those who don't know the difference between eucalyptus and between spearmint and peppermint, spearmint is really minty, whereas peppermint is minty still, but it's as the name suggests, it's peppery. It's very peppery, so they are fairly different, especially when you do incorporate them with other essential oils. So I know these two together are a really good combination. And thank you, Katherine, for giving out this this essential oil recipe that you use in your soaps. Katherine stated that this is one of her best sellers in her range. I highly recommend you go over to Katherine's Facebook and Instagram. Her business name is Coconut Luxe Collections. She makes such beautiful natural looking cold processed soaps, so head on over to her Facebook and Instagram and check her out, and provide some words of encouragement in regards to her YouTube. Katherine has stated that she's quite shy on camera, which I can totally relate to her, because I'm quite shy. It did take me a lot to actually be able to step out in front of the camera, and she's been really brave in doing YouTube videos, and she's wanting to put more effort into her YouTube as well, and she's also been very brave in doing Instagram lives. And just head on over and show her support. She'll really like words of encouragement, and just to help boost her confidence. And I think we all start off that way as well. I mean, I'm still not used to 100% stepping in front of the camera, and I did my first live the other day, and it's just very nerve-wracking. So I really take my hat off to Katherine for putting herself out there, and I've been really enjoying her lives as well, because it's just such a raw, you see what you get. Like with Katherine, there's no hiding, and I really have grown to really respect her as an individual. And I know that people that head on over to her Facebook and her Instagram would probably share the same opinion as well. So send her some love, and check her out. She's got beautiful soaps, as mentioned before, and we can all learn from each other. And it's one thing that Katherine does believe in. And I will also be interviewing Katherine on my channel on the 5th of June, so I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to our chat as well. So keep an eye out for that video, and links will be in the description. So another beautiful blend I do, and also the Cocoa Shea recipe, is 2% patchouli and 2% sweet orange, tenfold. Really nice combination. And I have to give thanks to Elly for one of her videos, because she mentioned orange tenfold, and I had a hard time in the past making just regular sweet orange stick in a recipe. So this combination is really good. And a friend of mine, another fellow soaper, she's located in Bahrain. Her name's Hafsa. She's a very sweet lady. We chat quite a bit on Instagram, and she shares some recipes, and she tries some of my recipes out, and she gives me feedback on how she finds it, and she follows my YouTube channel as well. Head on over to Instagram as well, jourisoap.bh. She makes really cute soaps. She's a fairly new soap maker, I think, and she's kind of stepping out of her comfort zone and trying new recipes and techniques and stuff. So big shout out to Hafsa. I know I was keeping it more like in Australia, but I really felt like I just had to give her a shout out. She actually tried this combination, which is really great. I've never did this combination with regular sweet orange. She did 2% patchouli, 2% regular sweet orange without tenfold, and 1% cedarwood. And she said that she found that the sweet orange fragrance kind of stuck through. So I guess I will try just to see in the future, and I mean, I'll take her word for it. And she said that it works really well. So for those that don't have access to tenfold orange is more pricey. So if you don't want to invest in tenfold orange, which is totally fine, then you can definitely go down this route and just use regular sweet orange essential oil. This is also another recipe that Hafsa shared as well. 2% lemon, 2% cedarwood, 0.5% peppermint, and 0.3% basil. And I think this will be such an amazing herbaceous, minty and slight citrus smell. It would actually be really nice, I reckon, the basil. I've never actually used basil in cold process soap. I've used it in aromatherapy rollers, specifically targeting like inflammatory issues, like with arthritis or any problems like that in the knees or in the joints. Basil's really good for that. So I think this would be a really nice combination. So a big shout out to Hafsa. Head on over to Instagram, and I'm sure she'll appreciate any new followers or any likes or any positive feedback on her Instagram page. So thanks again, Hafsa, for sharing these 2 recipes and all the positive feedback I've been receiving from you since meeting you online. It's been, I think, a few months now, so really thankful for you tuning in all the time and sharing your experiences with me. I really appreciate it. So this is the very first blend I actually created back almost 3 years ago now, when I first started my soap making journey. And well, it's been about 4 years, but I didn't really start mixing different essential oils and creating my own blends up until about 3 years ago. So this was the very first one, and it's just such a just a beautiful smell. It's a really popular bar, and I do sell these in aromatherapy rollers as well, and it's extremely popular in all the retail stores as well. It's just such a beautiful, calming, soothing combination of essential oils. The only thing is, in cold processed soap, this is probably the fastest tracing blend you can use. It just does it so quick, and I have to really whisk it in and just throw it in the mold like ASAP. But it's just a beautiful combination. I highly recommend you try this one. And then I'm going to be showing all the blends that I have worked with personally in cold process soap making. And all these blends is what I've created myself and experimented with over the years, and I'm really happy to share all the blends that I've created. So for the remainder of the video, there's quite a lot of different blends, so I'm not going to be talking, I'm just going to slide them through, and I'll see you at the end. Thanks guys for sticking it out to the end. I tried to make it as short as possible, but there are so many blends in the slide, so I wanted to cover as much as I possibly could. These are all the blends that I've used to date, so sometime in the future, once I create many more blends, I'll create another video, but I thought this is just to wrap up everything that I've shared so far, plus quite a lot of new recipes or essential oil blends that I haven't shared yet. So I thought that it would be a good idea to share all those. Remember to share, like this video, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching. Head on over to my Facebook and Instagram as well. And I'd love to hear how you go with some of these blends. So whatever blends you decide to try in your cold process soap recipe, I'd love to hear some feedback on how you find it. And I look forward to seeing everyone and hearing from everyone that tries any one of these blends. I'm always looking out at the comment section, and also in Instagram direct messages as well. So always love hearing back from my viewers. Also, thanks again to all the people that had shared some of their essential oil blends as well. So it means a lot to me, and I'm sure it will mean a lot to the people watching this video as well. So big shout out to everyone that contributed. Thanks again. Until next time, be safe, happy soaping, and happy blending.